Hey everybody, it's Steve Cady here, and it's a Sunday night in the summer term for the 6015, and we're doing a quick check-in, similar to what I had on last week during the day. If anybody wanted to check in, I had someone drop in to chat with me then as well. And one, I appreciate very much your enthusiasm uh, and your intention to do really good work and be clear about things and reaching out to me and all those kinds of things that will make for a good learning experience. So uh, we're off to a good start. The assignment, I want to preface it by saying it is a situated learning experience. And so when you look in here and you go into some of the resources, actually not here, but in the syllabus, you'll see some items in there related to situated learning. And essentially, you get a task and you learn in service of the task. And so you're getting your resources, you got your videos, you got the walkthrough, you got examples, and then you've got me. And so you jump in, review the resources, review the videos. It's a flipped classroom also approach. You take that learning and you utilize that to jump in and to address the assignment, and then you begin to learn in service of the task, i.e. what's happening right now. So this is actually a relevant learning point. It's a very important learning point because a lot of you are reaching out and saying, hey, we have some clarity. We want to get clear on the deliverable and some other things. So everything's happening just the way it should, and I really appreciate you all jumping in and being as attentive to doing a good job as you are. So with that, let me summarize a couple of the questions that came up that prompted tonight's conversation. One question was on exactly what is required in this draft, this first draft. And then second, what level of quality needs to be in the visuals that are created. So let me start off with the first thing in terms of deliverable. And the deliverable is a beginning, which is addressing actually the second question. I think we'll set up the first question if now I think about it. It's a beginning and review of your affinity diagram and your mind map. So it's two visuals. It's the beginning part of your visual for that. And so I'm coming down here to the outline. And so what I'm looking for is where are you? Share with me where you are in your affinity diagram. Share that. Share with me where you are with regard to the image, the mind map, or the outgrowth image from the affinity diagram, your visual representation of that. And it's where are you now? My expectation is that you take and make some stab at it, make some attempt at it. There is no easy way to get started, so the intention for this is for you to make a full pass through, such as walking through the entire experience, if you will, walk through it from point A through point Z, walk through it, touch everything, and then you come back through and you take it deeper and make it better on the next pass for the final one. So I'm expecting a kind of a full walkthrough and a description of all the pieces. It doesn't have to be thorough. It needs to show that you have addressed each of the elements. So you start with your introduction. You've got some like introduce and define the concept. You might just throw down what's your definition? What do you see? You know, kind of what do you see as the hook, which is actually the reason for the assignment, the purpose for the assignment. What's the value of it, and so forth. So you can just kind of, it could be 3 sentences, 4 sentences, or paragraph. Just kind of introducing what this is. It's your first kind of quick stream of consciousness, if you will, with some thoughtfulness behind it. And then you pop into the process and you introduce the methods and kind of, hey, I got these 5 and I chose these 2, or I got these 5 and I'm still thinking about the 2, and you could be kind of there. I got this one, but I'm still thinking about this one or this one as the one to go. But you'll eventually turn that into your final what you did do in terms of methods and why you chose them, and a little bit about what the process is. So you kind of are summarizing a little bit of the process. So here you could have a couple paragraphs or a paragraph. And so I am looking for you to kind of write a little bit. in each of these sections to give me a sense of where you are. That will help me and those of us that are here kind of know what your current state of your progress with this assignment is at this draft point. The affinity diagram. Here you can introduce where you are, and it might be, again, a paragraph or two with the visual. So here you describe the patterns that you are beginning to see emerge, and you might even describe a little bit about how it's working for you. You can start, again, kind of touch on these issues where you are now with some just quick thoughts. Then you flow into the mind map and you kind of say, okay, based on that, here's what I'm thinking of a visual way of representing it. And again, the drafts, the visuals for the two can be drafts. They can be this is where I am at this point in time. So show us where you are. And if you want to hand draw something for the mind map and kind of what you're thinking about, just hand draw some stuff to kind of show kind of what you're thinking visually, what's emerging for you. I've seen people use literally mind maps. I've seen people use metaphors of sailing across the ocean. I've seen people, and I've seen people use other creative ways that they want to demonstrate the patterns within the 6 design elements. And you want to say a little bit here about where you are with this and what your thinking is. And so my thinking is, as long as you have a paragraph, or maybe in the introduction, a paragraph in the process. The affinity diagram, it might be a couple paragraphs. So mine might be a couple paragraphs. And then the application might be a paragraph. And your conclusion, I think what you can do here is you can start to take some notes around these questions, which will actually inform you when you're later. So I'd answer a little bit, maybe a couple sentences for each one of these, and then your references. So that's what my thinking is. And the reason for doing this is that you're not going to be ready to do it. You've got to kind of walk through this outline, kind of do the process once. Then you do the peer reviews of 2 other people. We also then have an experience the next weekend. And by that time, you'll be ready. And what I did is I made a couple adjustments here in the schedule. And it's to your benefit. So it's more time, not less. So you got the mind map here tomorrow, your draft. And again, I'm looking for, and submit it as a PDF. So it'll be your, and in that regard, also I want to emphasize, you have your cover page, you'll have your abstract, your table of contents, then you'll have your outline with your pieces, you'll have your reference page. So you'll kind of have that piece done, and then you'll have your images at the back, maybe as an Appendix A and Appendix B, and you just submit it as a PDF. So that's what I'm looking for there. Then here on Wednesday, we'll discuss the mind map drafts. We will also discuss the method experience and getting you all ready for the residency 1, particularly the teams that will be doing work on residency 1. Be doing the presentations residency 1. And what I did is I moved the mind map, complete the peer review. I had it set for Wednesday. I moved it to Monday. You can do it anytime you want. And what you want to do here on the peer review, complete it by Monday, and that's just giving other people feedback on the 2 that you've seen. So I figured that after you submit the draft, after you've had a chance to have the discussion of the mind maps as well as this here, and then you let it soak for a few days, you'll maybe want to give the peer review over, not so fast, but you will give them a peer review by Monday that you think will be helpful to each other, and you'll look at the peer review process, reviewing others a little differently, with a little bit of time for us to talk and so forth. So that's the intention there. Then what I did is move the mind map, this discussion forum for your learning and revision strategy. I moved this to after the residency. So because we're going to have an experience during the residency, and I figured, hey, here, since we got some time, give you this time to individually kind of do a little bit more thoughtful reflection on your experience, what you learned from the weekend, because it'll become a lot more clear, and that will lead to the revision strategy. So I moved that to the 20th, and then your final on the 25th. So that was a little bit of a moving around to that I thought would be a little bit more helpful to you having some space for that soak time and work time. And also, once you're done with the mind map draft tomorrow night, and the peer review is what you have left, that's a pretty straightforward activity individually to do. the teams can shift immediately after Monday to getting ready, and we'll have basically 2 weeks to get ready for running their experience during the weekend, in which I'll explain more on Wednesday as we go. And the teams can already, we'll be able to do everything that each of the teams. I'll meet. We'll stay late as the teams need to go through everything with you all then. So I hope that answers a few of the questions that came up. So why don't I go through? I'm going to go Anna, and then Brianna, Christopher, Aaron, Jim, Julie, Kimberly, Molly, Rob, Sarah, in that order. And I'll just call on you, and then the next person will come on, and I'll say, so what are your reactions to what you heard, and what questions you have, or how can I help you? And we'll just kind of go down the line from there. And so I'll start with Anna. So Anna.
Hi, Steve. Hi, everyone. I think I'm in good shape. I actually had already submitted my draft and then received the email about the office hours. So based on what you told me, I feel my draft is sufficient, if not a little bit extra in certain parts. So good. I feel good there. My one question, just from what you were just saying, is May 7th is actually a Thursday. And that's and you keep saying Wednesday, so I just want clarification on when that call actually is.
Let me tell you what happened in here. Canvas was showing me all the dates for 2014, and so I was going back and forth. So let me go back. I think I planned on, and I could do actually either night. So my thinking is, I'm pulling up my calendar right now. Let me look here. Sorry, hold on one second. So my thinking is I would like to do 8:30, preferably on Wednesday or Thursday night. And maybe we'll just do a roll call with people. But I was thinking Wednesday. I have the 6th here. It's the set. You're right. It's let's see here. So my intention was Wednesday for it to be the 6th. What are your thoughts on, should it be this? I think the 6th is better. I want to get with you all sooner than later on particularly the team method experience. What are your thoughts?
Whatever works for you guys. Personally, the Thursday works better, but I can make it work. So
okay, so we'll just do a little.
Go with the flow.
We'll do a little poll with people. So you would prefer the 7th, not the 6th.
I would, but like I said, whatever majority rules is.
No, I'll just check there. Okay. So anything else?
No, the only thing is when I did submit it, it had the 2014 date on it, so it told me I was late, which I wasn't. But
no, I fixed that. I fixed all that.
Okay.
Everything's fine. If you look here, come down here. The dates will pop up, and there's the 4th, the 11th, and the 25th. Okay.
Perfect. Great. Those are all my questions. I appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you. And how was the experience for you in writing your draft? How was that getting it done? What was that like for you?
It seemed overwhelming at first, but once I got going, it wasn't so bad. Obviously, I could speak more to the affinity diagram process and the mind mapping process. And so those sections are, they're not complete, but they're definitely more filled out. And then I feel like it just follows your intent, which was I'm looking at the other sections going, well, really, we haven't had a chance to get into this, to apply it, to do additional research. And so those sections are thinner. So, but it was a draft, and, I did what I did, wrote my process, which was great. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun, and I feel like I learned a lot just in the two processes of the affinity diagram and the mind mapping. So, so far, so good.
Okay, cool. Thanks. All right. Cool. So I'll switch gears. I'll move over to Brianna. Brianna?
Hi. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I thought we had to do pretty much everything in there, so I was freaking out a little bit. I'm glad that it's just like almost like bones a little bit. I got the affinity diagram done, and I'm working on my mind map right now. I am enjoying the process, but I guess I'm just a little confused as to what we're going to do in terms of it during the residency weekend. So between now and that final, like what we're going to do as a class, I guess.
Right. Right. What you'll be doing is you'll be working in your blend team,
Mm-hmm.
and you all will take and create a meta mind map from your individual mind maps.
So, because like I have like post-its everywhere, but if I just have my mind map, I'll be good that residency weekend, right?
Your document, you'll need to have your document. So you'll need to have your draft document with you want to submit. What you're submitting is a PDF that has your written, like I mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
elaboration here on the different pieces in the outline, along with the visual of your affinity and the visual of your mind map, the drafts, if you will, of those visuals.
Okay.
Included with your paper, and that will inform you as you come with the group. And a meta mind map means not that you all are rewriting a paper, but you'll be working together to say, here are the patterns I saw, here are the patterns you saw, and then to collectively you will create a richer or a deeper version of the patterns, connecting the patterns you individually see. So you'll just take your learning deeper from your mind map.
Okay. All right. That makes a little more sense. I appreciate it. And then my preference on the meeting, I actually would prefer Thursday if possible.
Okay. Okay. I will put that down here. So we get 2 votes for Thursday. Okay, thanks. And I'll go to Christopher. Chris? You there? If you're on mute, I can't hear you. So if you click on, and you may not be able to hear us because I'm not sure, it shows you with the phone, so you need to dial in.
Can you hear me now?
I can now.
That's awesome. Okay. I hit the speaker button instead of the mute button, so that's an issue. So yeah, some of it, I think I just had a different idea on the deliverables. So I'm glad I got that cleared up. My understanding was, start on your visual for your mind map by Monday. So getting on that. I did have a question, actually, Kimberly Florin asked me to ask, and that is there going to be a grade on the draft?
Yes, and so when you look here in the module, you'll see here, it says the draft, and you can see 50 points right there.
Mm-hmm.
And when you click on this to submit, you'll see that I'm looking complete. And I, for some of you for those that were on the previous live session that we had, we talked this through, and I showed you all that. I'm looking at complete, which is, did you address each of the places in the outline? And that was one of the things we had talked about. Again, as I was most interested in you touching on each of the items in the outline. That's complete.
Okay.
And then I want to see something for the Infinity and something for the mind map, and then submit it as a PDF. And then thoughtful is just that you gave me enough to know where you are in each of the areas. So that will be helpful, so I know where you are in that, and I want to be able to evaluate. So one sentence is going to help me, but like I said, a paragraph here, a couple, 3 paragraphs there, a paragraph here, and so forth, as appropriate to help me see where you are and understand what your thinking is at this point in time. And that's what I'm looking for. If it's really, really cryptic, it becomes obvious in comparison to other submissions from the other students. Some people might, and I've had this happen periodically, when someone comes in and it's just really bullets, not thought through, and the front end is done, but not the back end, and it's just kind of half finished. in terms of just walking through. And the whole intention is to walk through the whole steps of all the process and kind of touch on them, kind of one layer or 2 layers of varnish. You're not getting a whole lot of varnish on there, but you want a couple layers of varnish across the whole table. You don't want to varnish the front end of the table and leave the back end of the table unvarnished. So I'm looking for you to kind of varnish the whole thing, 1 layer, maybe a second layer, and kind of stop there so that I can kind of see where you are. But you need to go over the whole thing and go through it once in order to have a sense of how to connect the pieces in your draft as you get ready for the weekend.
Good analogy. Okay. As far as you sort of mentioned formatting there with the bullets, how would you like, so when it says thoughtful versus complete in those 2 areas, do you want like our thoughts to be included in that? Okay.
Yeah, so here's
formatting wise.
Yeah, I think I follow what you're asking. So for example, in the process, you might do 1 paragraph with 3 or 4 bullets. In the affinity diagram, you might do a paragraph or 2 with 8 bullets. To have at least a paragraph so I can get a sense of your thinking. So give me at least a paragraph, in some of these space, like a paragraph in the process is fine. A paragraph in the introduction with some bullets is fine. A paragraph in the, but then maybe a paragraph or 2 in the affinity, maybe a paragraph or 2 in the mind map with bullets, So give me a little bit of thought and put it together in these 2 areas. And then down here, the application could probably be a paragraph with some bullets. And then the conclusion, I think here, it could be probably a few sentences for each of these, just 2 or 3 sentences, maybe, something like that for each of these bullets, just kind of as a beginning point. What are your thoughts, reactions to that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I guess with a more direct question would be, what should be in the bullets? What should be in the paragraphs?
I'm okay with whatever you put. So I'm not going to say I don't like what you put there. Okay. I'm not going to grade you, as you can see. I'm really interested in here. Complete and thoughtful. Complete means you touched on each of the pieces in the outline, and thoughtful means that you gave me a paragraph with some bullets, and I can understand what your thinking is. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
You follow?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think so.
It's not right or wrong, left or right, up or down. I want because this is a gauge of where you are, as much so it will help me know how to help you take it further.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Okay. So what guides you to what to put in the paragraphs? Like in the introduction, I'm not going to grade you whether or not you did all this here right, as much as Beatrice, I need to, if you can mute yourself, Beatrice, or just kind of watch. I'm picking up a lot of noise from your computer. There you go. So what I'm looking here, Chris, is, this should guide you on kind of things to address in the introduction. You write that paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
This should guide you kind of as things to describe in your paragraph and your bullets. This should give you some direction here and give you some direction here. So that's what I would say you want to do, because you're going to use all this writing to inform your final product. So however far you take it in your draft is going to serve you in your final anyway. So take it as far as you can within the context of, kind of the general guideline I gave you here around paragraphs and some bullets. And then I'm just going to read it. It's going to help me, but I'm going to say, oh, I understand what he's thinking. I think he needs some help a little bit here. I think I need to stress a little bit there. I need to work with you a little bit on this. And those will give me guidance for the next weekend when we're together. I can then be working with you all based on where you are. So this is sort of you got to get out there. I don't know, like in coaching sports, you got to get out there, and I got to get you swinging the club. I got you hitting a few rounds. I got to kind of watch you a little bit to know how to help, where you are, how to help you. Kind of a baseline assessment of where you are and your understanding of this, so I can help you take it further. And some of you will take it a lot further and have it. That's great because you'll just take your learning even further as you go on the next round. And so my encouragement is to take as far as you can the minimum guidelines I gave you as kind of like a starting point. As long as you did that, you'll get full credit. What I just described.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, that's really helpful.
Okay, and I'm really interested in you going through these sections, all of these sections, and kind of working them through. And writing, and I, for some of you that write a lot, you know this. There's no easy way to get started in writing, and sometimes you just have got to just throw stuff down on the paper, and I'm giving you an outline. You just got to throw the stuff down and get it in there, because then you start kind of greasing the mental gears to start working. There is no way to sort of get to a good idea that you want to write down unless you start with writing down. And so this is up here. Let me just show this right here. This might be helpful to you all as a writing. This is a really good, this visual guide right here. To see this picturing a personal essay right there. You see that? This right here is such a good post. I think of it as an article. And he said, picturing the personal essay. Think of this as picturing the personal method mind map, a visual guide. And he writes, a design professor from Denmark once drew me a picture of the creative process, which you all are going through, which had been the subject of his doctoral dissertation. Here, he said, this is what it looks like. Right? He said, I thought, as we discussed parallels in the writing process, although I may start an essay with the notion of where I am headed, inevitably I veer away as I get new ideas or encounter dead ends. Sometimes I even seem to go backwards, losing all direction. Nothing is wasted, though, said the design professor, because every bend in the process is helping you arrive at your necessary structure. By trying a different angle or creating a composite of past approaches, you get closer and closer to what you intend. You begin to delineate the organic form that will match your content. So this process is really a skill set that you're developing in the master's program, and it's an invaluable skill set for helping you become a communicator and a writer in practical settings at the next level for you. So wherever you are, this process is going to help you take your skill set to the next level in your writing and your creative thinking and the way you help others address critical issues, problems, and facilitate groups or articulate problems or whatever it might be. And so this mind mapping, affinity diagramming, and mind mapping process is going to help you. Those two tools and this process will not only help you understand the methods, it will also give you a tool set for your personal consulting, facilitation, and leadership skills, as well as a tool you can use practically in your teams or organization down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Chris, any other reflections on what I shared and any other thoughts?
No, I think that really cleared things up for me much more than what had been. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Good. And this is all part of situated learning. You're listening differently now that you jumped in. You're learning in service of the task. Do you see? So the conversation is, you kind of listen differently, you take it in differently. So what do you prefer, Wednesday or Thursday?
I guess if I had to vote, I'd say Wednesday.
Wednesday, okay. All right. So we'll keep going. Aaron?
Sorry, Steve, it's Betty. So we still need to submit all of this tomorrow, or we change the date?
No, it's tomorrow. Yes, it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow midnight?
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, so if you want to go ahead, if you got questions, I'll just jump in with you, but then Aaron will go next. But so what other questions do you have?
No, it's clear for me now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Aaron, do you have anything else you want?
I think I'm in good shape. I'm working on the level of detail that I'm going to get, but yeah, I feel like I'm making okay progress. The thing that I'm struggling with the most is actually coming up with creating a visual for my mind map. The linear nature of the affinity diagram works really well for me. I'm all over that. But figuring out how to put into a piece of paper what the visual representation is of my mind map, I'm a little sketchy on what that is supposed to look like.
Gotcha. Have you looked at mind mapping and some of the resources on mind mapping?
I looked a little bit, and I've watched the video a couple of times where you walked through the steps of how to do this particular project. So, you know, it should look like a circle with things coming off of it and then little circles coming off of that.
Yeah, and I think you've got to look at some of the resources on mind mapping to kind of help you with that. To give
Okay.
you a little bit further. A mind map, in a lot of ways, is very well aligned to tables, rows, and aisles, rows and columns. Very because the center is the topic, and then you might have each of your columns be one of the lines off of the circle, and you might have 5 columns, and or you might have, you can pick a different way, and then you didn't have the patterns from within the affinity diagram kind of that you're seeing off of that. And so typically a lot of people do the center of the circle is their, kind of the method process, the method evaluation process or method patterns. And they'll take and do system, purpose, journey as each of the circles off of it. And then they'll say, okay, for system, there are 5 key patterns I saw. And you draw a line for pattern 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you kind of say, okay, under the first pattern, there's a little small circle there. And then you have 5 things that describe that one pattern. And that becomes little lines off of that. So it's very, very easily translated from a table, a linear table into that.
Okay, I heard you. I thought I heard you say earlier that it could be either a visual or an extended metaphor or something creative. So if you're saying that what it should look like is this circle thing, I can do the circle thing.
Yeah, and if you just look at a few more of the resources on that so you can kind of see. But yes,
Okay.
that's generally the idea. And
Okay.
did you watch the video from the examples from class?
Yes. Yeah.
And you saw students' mind maps and some of their initial drafts and their ways of attacking it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. Okay, yeah. So that'll you got plenty to get started on that, and yeah, and you just kind of get started. Just throw some stuff down that you think would make sense for a mind map for you.
Okay. And just in terms of what you'd like to see in the draft, I feel like the executive summary is something I can write when I have my final paper done. I feel a little awkward trying to come up with that in draft form.
Yeah,
So,
I think if you just put a little paragraph there as a
okay.
folder, just summarizing a little bit of what you've done.
Okay.
Three.
I can do a paragraph.
Yeah.
I was struggling to come up with a whole page.
Yeah, no, because it's paragraph's fine.
Okay.
But I want something there that kind of summarizes the paper in a paragraph.
Okay.
I can summarize your draft in one paragraph there. It's not telling me what you're going to tell me. It's a summary of, it's like the 5 best sentences in one paragraph. Something
Got it.
Got it? And that's the intention of an executive summary, is to be that. So I think just making sure that your paragraph or executive summary is just a quick summary of the content. That would be great.
Okay.
1 paragraph summary of it. And write that last before you kind of do it.
All right. And then I can do either Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Okay. Good questions so far. So we're going to go Jim next, and then Julie after that. Jim?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure can.
Okay. First, get it out of the way because I'll forget. Either Wednesday or Thursday works for me.
Okay.
No, I'm glad I listened to this, because in a previous life, rough draft meant it's virtually done. Only thing left to go back is make sure your spelling errors are corrected and your grammar. So
Yeah,
I guess I don't have to.
I tend to lean towards that idea. With this and the amount of time we have, I'm loosening that up because of just the amount of time that you all had to work on it. Some of you took right off when you were asking for it way early on. Some of you've had the last 3 weeks, and so kind of trying to create the right level of expectation pending the time you've had.
Right. I guess my question is the references. How thorough should the references be on the draft?
Great question. I think have your references in there. They don't have to be grammatically. You don't see me saying in there that they have to be grammatically correct. So it's getting your references in there, and you might need to make them APA perfect later. But again, if you get them APA right when you put them in there, then you don't have to do it later. So it saves you time. But just get some references in there that you feel are appropriate for the work that you've done.
Okay. And I guess that's fine, because it seems to me that this could actually be 2 papers, a paper on the methods themselves and then a paper on the affinity diagram and the mind mapping, and we're combining the 2 topics to a certain extent.
Yes, you are. Yep, you are. You're learning how to use a tool. You're learning a tool for learning the methods. So you're learning the tool and you're applying it to learning the methods. So you're learning tools and you're learning methods together. And we tend to do that in the class. We tend to learn methods. We use the methods to learn the methods. So, for example, the World Cafe group will be using World Cafe to learn about the methods, for example, on the residency one weekend. And so we're using affinity and mind mapping to learn about the methods. So we're learning about those tools within the context. So you're right about that.
Okay, that's all the comments I had. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Okay. And again, don't hesitate to reach out as you need help, because I'm glad that you all did that tonight. And so I'll keep going here. Julie, how are you doing?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. Hello. I think that you answered pretty much all the questions that I had going on. I'm in the process of writing my draft now. I was super confused as to where we were at, but this has definitely clarified a lot of the questions that I had. One of the questions had definitely been on the executive summary, which you have already answered. And Wednesday works better for me.
Wednesday works better. Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Then Kimberly F. or Kim F.
Yes, can you hear me?
Sure can.
Okay. This has been super helpful, and at this point, it's cleared up all of my questions. So thank you so much for doing it. And Wednesday works better for me.
Okay. Great. All right. So Kim W.
Yeah, hi.
Hey.
Thanks for pulling this together. I guess I'm coming in kind of in a different boat just because I couldn't make the last class, and then we didn't have the recording after that. So I guess my main questions have been answered in terms of what we need to be doing. I guess just moving forward, I'm a little worried about capturing this information going forward, because I know the recordings have been kind of an issue, and for me, I kind of turned to other people in the class about what we should be doing for this assignment, and I think there was, which I think is why we're having this call, quite a bit of confusion about that, and I wonder if there's some way that we could just get something like this in writing, and maybe this is on the website and I haven't seen it, but what the draft actually meant, because I feel like some people thought it was just the mind map, some people thought it was the paper, and even kind of asking people, it was hard to figure out what was going on. So I don't know if there's
a way to prevent that in the future, but I feel like now I know what's happening, but it wasn't really until this call that I kind of knew what I was supposed to be doing. So I've been working really hard on the mind map, and mine is kind of this multi-page monster because it has a lot of detail on it, which I think is good in some ways, but I might have shifted my focus earlier had I understood the paper part was kind of more of the focus this time around. So I feel like maybe there's a better way to kind of capture that information when we have issues with the recordings and lots of questions. And I'm happy to help with that, but I guess that's all I'd add.
Cool. So quick question. Did you look at the 3 recordings here?
Yeah. So the mind map part, I basically did what you talked about with Aaron. I just have lots of circles and lines, and it takes up multiple pages for me. So that I understood. It was more just when I read mind map draft, I thought it was a draft of the mind map itself, not the thoughts in the paper. And when I talked to other people who had been in the class, they had that same impression. So it was more not understanding what the specific draft was about.
Gotcha. Kind of goes back to telling it 3 or 4 different ways, because on the last call, it was that question was asked and we kind of walked through, and I brought it up like I did here and basically kind of shared what I said tonight on that. But also it kind of is laid out here in these 3 recordings as well. I think, what might be done is and my intention was a little bit more, walking through it's been, the draft is a written paper draft with that. So that is my expectation. The only thing that I'm doing differently is I'm pulling back a little bit on the amount of content in each of the sections on the written paper. So I got to figure out how to say it another way in addition to the different ways I've said it, so that it can complement it. Because I do feel that it has been communicated, and while that is the case on my part, like I feel that way or I believe that, it still doesn't take away from the fact that you were confused. So I've got to find a way to find that gap and fill it. So I appreciate you bringing that to my attention. Is there anything else, Kim, that you have?
So just for the abstract and do you want both an abstract and the executive summary, or one or the other?
No. So come back. Let's go back here. You see here?
Yeah.
Okay. There's no abstract.
Okay, I thought you said abstract earlier. I thought.
Well, I said kind of treat it like an abstract. So kind of think about. So when I was talking about it, I was just saying, if you do a paragraph here, that's a nice paragraph, something like an abstract, that would be appropriate at this stage.
Gotcha. Okay, that clears that up.
Okay.
And then for the days, I had Wednesday on my calendar, and I want to say the invite that I saw said Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I just that still works for me, and it's better than Thursday. But I would just suggest that if we do change it to Thursday, make sure everyone knows pretty quickly, because I assume everyone else got that invite as well.
Yeah, it was just I got you, and I agree with you. Okay, it makes sense. Okay, anything else, Kim?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So, Kyle, want to unmute yourself? Is it?
Yep, there we go. Can you hear me?
Yep, sure can.
Awesome. So I joined late. I'm not exactly sure what all I missed. Based on what I did here, I think I'm further ahead than most. I think, kind of have a completed paper.
Good.
And when I say this, I hope not to freak anybody out, because a lot of it is pictures, but it's 28 pages long. Again, like 12 pages of that's pictures, and then like the first page is cover. Then table of contents is actually 2 pages, so it's not that bad. I know I was talking to Brianna this afternoon, and I was telling her, I mean, it kind of said it in the video, and Steve, I think you said it in one of the classes, but trust the process. I did really feel lost going into it, but the further I got, the more it all made sense. I mean, it wasn't necessarily easy, but I think it may make sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Okay. No, that's good. That's good. And okay, so any other questions you have to help you?
I don't think so. I mean, I guess because I think I may be further along than anybody else at this point. I guess I'm curious just to wait to see some feedback for step 2 of the process.
Okay. Right. Yeah. And so what'll happen is you'll have a chance to peer review 2 other papers between now and next Monday, and then you'll do the peer review. Then we'll come to the residency and we'll use them in an experience with our graphic recording group, facilitating an experience around them on Friday. And by the time we're done with that, you'll have a lot of ideas on how you want to take yours to the next level, and you'll post your learnings here on the 20th, and then your final on the 25th. So
cool.
You'll have some time to go deeper on that. Is there anything else you need?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool.
I'm just trying to absorb all this since I kind of came in last minute.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Just ask if you do. Okay. So I'll keep moving it along here. Molly, how about you?
I think that this call was really helpful, so thank you for organizing this last minute and taking care of all of us, because I know I was on the same boat as most, being a little confused. But the questions I have is that I'm doing some research on the Maestro conference, but it's not as in-depth as what like the Change Handbook overview has on all the other methods that we're going on. So is there a good place to look for information on Maestro conference, or?
No, just what you see on the website. Use that. Anything on social anything on social conferencing and those kinds of things. Okay. And the cool thing is Brian Burt and I have been emailing, and for the Maestro conference team, we're going to be able to change it up a little bit. He's available, and his key person's available to working with you. And we can do we're going to do a little different experience where you're not going to have to facilitate for the client session. We'll just set you up to create a fireside virtual chat using Maestro Conference with Brian to learn about the role of social conferencing and conversations that can change the world.
Great.
So it'll be really cool. It's the same thing. Basically, you're going to facilitate 2 phone calls. You're going to just do one using Maestro Conference, and it'll be with our class, and we'll invite the rest of the world to sit in and listen to us as we talk to him about, how to use conversations to make a big difference in the world, what he's learned. And he's really cool because he knows the founders of all the social media like Twitter. He's out there working with them. He's inventing new stuff. It's all really cool. So we'll have a nice conversation. You all will be able to get to know him more personally, and you'll also get to know, be able to have a nice little session. So I'll talk with you all about that on Wednesday.
Great, that's awesome. The other question is roughly how many references should we have for the paper?
It depends on what you draw from, but you have your 7 methods. So I could see you having the Change Handbook as one. You have the Change Mastery article, and the other ones I've given you as some references, as you use them. And then you might have other sources you've pulled from to support, each of the methods that you've looked at them, something along those lines. So that's just a general guidance. So you could have 7, you could have 10, something like that. You could have 15, just depending on what you draw from and where you pull your where you do your analysis of the methods, how far you go out from the Change Handbook. If you, let's say, go to a site and you find some cool stuff there that you wanted to reference, then you might reference that. Does that give you enough guidance?
Absolutely, thank you.
Okay, cool.
And then as far as the next call, I guess I have a clarifying question first. How long is the call going to be, for roughly?
with you guys being, I'm learning with a larger cohort, it takes a little bit longer, but I'd say my plan was to do 8:30, not 9, to try to, and to make sure we were done by 10, so like do 90 minutes. But then also to be available possibly afterwards for any of the teams that are going to want to have some additional time, because we'll use that time to talk with the teams. But I think we could get it done in that 90 minutes and maybe be available for anybody who really wants to have further clarity. That was the intention.
Okay. Then the 6th works better for me. I will probably come on a little late because I have a work event until 8 o'clock.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. That's fine. Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Rob, we're almost done, everybody. Thanks for hanging in there. There's lots of good questions. Rob?
Hello.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yep, sure can.
I'm here. Hi there. Good. Yeah, it's been pretty insightful listening to everybody. Hi, everybody. By the way, I miss you guys. It's been insightful listening to everybody talk, and I think I'm not nearly as far along as Kyle. I can guarantee you that for sure. So I think I got busy at work and kind of went, oh, geez, this grad school thing is getting kind of easy right now, and didn't really dig in as much as I should have. So I've got some catching up to do. I'll be completely honest with you. So, but I did get some good input from everybody. And I've been texting feverishly to all you folks, some of you folks out there, getting some feedback too. So, yeah. I know I'm doing tomorrow.
Good. So, and what I'm thinking, let me ask you a question. I've been thinking about this, talking, because I can do this. I just don't. I want to move. I want to get the draft done. There's no, we kind of work the deadline. So if it's tomorrow, it's tomorrow. But I could move it to Tuesday night if that would help people do a better quality product and get a little bit further along, and not get in the way of us moving towards our method experiences that we're going to need to move into for what looks like to be our Wednesday call. So I'd be up for.
I think I could probably use a little bit of that time because I did get a little behind. It's my fault totally, but I just haven't been keeping up with this as much as I probably should have, and I could probably use that time. I don't want to speak for anybody else. Sounds like some folks are pretty well caught up, but I don't know about everybody.
Okay. Okay, cool.
So, and either Wednesday or Thursday works for me.
Okay. Okay. All right. And Sarah, last but not least.
Hello, everyone. I am getting started, and I did have a question. I heard you mention 7 of the methods, and I'm reading doing one additional one. Is that right?
For years, and sometimes the target moves just a teeny bit, so I just want to make sure I'm trying to get this to show here.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, so you got here. So we got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Plus 2 other methods, 7, 8. So it's 8. Okay. So when I'm saying 7, 8.
Okay.
So, and it says down here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's right here.
That's what I was counting, and then I heard 7.
Yeah, no, it's just me. Just me and my aging mind. I need to take some more fish oil. So, all right.
Both nights would work for me as well. So.
Okay.
And I would love to have it on Tuesday if we could do that.
Okay, so yeah, I'm comfortable with Tuesday. I don't think it'll compromise us getting moving on to our next, so we can still be moving into our method experiences. So I'm good with that. All right, so I think we've gone through everybody. Beatrice, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, any other questions from you? Because you were kind of representing the group. What are your reactions to what you've heard? Would you like to have it due on Tuesday, or would you rather move it?
Yeah.
Or would you rather move it to Sunday, tonight?
Oh, that would be great. No way. I wouldn't sleep all night. If we can move it to Tuesday, will be very helpful, I think, to deliver a better quality draft. I know it's a draft, but still needs to have some quality on it. So if it is Tuesday, will be great for not just, I think, for most of us.
With that, and I will send a note out so everybody knows. For those of you that have already submitted, if you submit, you can also submit another one, go back in. So let's say you did it and you say, the deadline's still not there. I want to change something. You can go back in and upload a second one and say this is the, final or something like that. But it shows me, and you just make a note so I know. And so you can submit additional ones as well, and that works just fine. So if we look here on the draft here, I'll just go like this and hit 5 there. So voila. And then I'll go in here and let's see here, edit this and move this to that. So we got that taken care of. So what else is coming up for you, Beatrice, that you want to address?
No, I'm okay. Being the last one was perfect because I could listen to everybody's question.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Okay. And so this is just, we'll wrap up right now. Anybody have any closing comments? And then I'm just going to do no, I want to know that you guys are doing okay. I mean, I really want to make sure you guys are you guys and gals are all right, that you are on track. It's a challenging moment to be in this. So I understand that, and I want to make sure that that you're all right still within the midst of this challenge. Of getting this assignment done and the creative process and all of that. So on one sense, I want to support you, and in another sense, I want to see you kind of rise to the challenge as well. So I want to be helpful as much as I can. I want to know you're all right. With that, I'll just kind of go through and just real quick. If you don't have anything to say, just don't say anything. But if you have something to say, how you're doing or where you are, that'd be great. And we'll just be done, and we'll end now. And if you have anything else you need, raise it. So I'll just start at the top again. And so Anna, how are you as you're leaving? Okay. Beatrice, how are you as you're leaving?
Well, I'm leaving much more with a much clear idea, and I would like to thank you for the quick reaction on getting us together and give us the time to clarify. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Rihanna, how are you as you're leaving?
I really just appreciate the time, and I'm feeling much more comfortable with what's in store for it. Thank you.
Great. Christopher, how are you as you're leaving?
Yeah, I feel a lot better.
Okay. Good. Aaron?
It's all good.
All good. Jim?
Good. I've got a solid start. I got a long way to go more, but feeling good about it.
Great. Kim F?
Feeling good. Much better after the call. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Kim W?
Yeah, I'm okay. I still feel overwhelmed, but I think it'll come together.
Okay, gotcha. And you can always call me anytime, offline. Okay? Anytime. Just call me, text me, email me, say, hey, I want to chat with you. I missed X. I would like to know a little bit more. Anytime. That's the way this class is set up. So I'm always there available 24/7. And so it's like I'm on permanent call as a physician. So, Kyle, how are you?
I'm feeling pretty good. I feel confirmed, I guess, with everything that's said based on what I have so far. So, again, I'm just kind of curious to start getting some feedback.
Okay.
Make sure I'm on the right path.
Right. Molly?
I feel great, a lot less overwhelmed. So thank you very much for the call tonight.
You're welcome. Rob?
Hi there. Am I back?
Yep.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I can't myself on mute or not. No, I'm feeling a lot better. I want to give kudos out to Kyle for just leading the way on that, but we'll all catch up to you real soon, Kyle.
Yeah, he's rubbing it in.
For the record, guys, I thought I was behind because I finished it at noon today, and I really felt I was behind. So if anybody wants to ask how I did my process, feel free.
Well, I think you were supposed to do the mind maps for everybody. That was the agreement. So get those done, please.
I missed that memo, and I'll probably fail then.
Yeah. No, you.
And that's a challenge I'm willing to accept to fail in.
Take one for the team.
Yep.
Cool. Sarah?
I feel good. Gonna get moving on this thing.
Okay, great. And so Under the announcements, if you all would do the following for me. And the last thing, we got this right here. If you all would please just put in a reply down here and then put in a summary of key points from each of you. That way, anybody that wasn't here, just tell them, hey, go to the announcements page, go to the office hours tonight, and you'll see a summary of some key points made. I'm going to do my best to get this recording converted, and I honestly don't have a good answer right now. And most classes don't do this, so we kind of are. This is a nice addition that I find really helps, as Kim mentioned, can remove a lot of ambiguity and help a lot. So I feel I'm just going to have to figure it out tomorrow. But in lieu of that, if anybody needs something, just call me, and I'll do my best to get these recordings up. And other than that, thanks for your enthusiasm. You all are great. We're doing good. We're flying into our first residency, and I think you all are up to the challenge. So I'll see you all. Have a good rest of the night, and don't hesitate to contact me if you need anything. So bye for now.
Steve?
Yeah.
I do have one last quick question. The last 2 videos that you converted to YouTube for the review sessions.
Yeah.
Has anybody said they've had issues accessing them? Because they won't play for me.
Yeah. They're not working. Okay. I can't. Yeah, I'm having, like, I click right here. I'll click here, and it won't. It doesn't open for me. But then one will open for me, but won't open for other people.
The oldest one out there, I think it was 2011, maybe.
Oh, that's that right there. So these here, and I know people need to go, so you all can go ahead and cruise. Those of you that want to cruise or can hang and listen. But again, bye everybody. If you need to, I'll hang out for any questions people have for the next few minutes. So right here, you're talking about this right here.
Yeah, the first video, if you scroll down to the bottom of that page, the 2012 draft session I can get to play, but not the 13 and 14.
Correct. I cannot. I can get them to play for me.
Uh-huh.
They are on Google. They're not. You can see here the link. That one. I tried to get them up on Google. They won't work. I got them uploaded to YouTube. I can't get them to work. So I've got the first 3, and the first 3 are plenty. Quite honestly, these first 3 right here.
Mm-hmm.
If I could take this off and just not say that they're there, and you wouldn't know any different. You would think, oh, I got 3 working. I'm good to go. So don't stress about these other 2. I might just delete them out of there right now. I just want to get them working, so I'm leaving them there because I'm just committed to figuring this piece out.
Don't you love technology? It works when it wants to.
These 3 are the critical ones because these first 2 give you what you need to get going, along with, these 2 articles up here, the change handbook and so forth, and then, and then the mind mapping, kind of right here through pattern language to some things around affinity diagramming, and then down here mind mapping. You got a lot of good stuff here that you can, you got resources in here to help you with that. So you have everything you need in terms of multimedia, rich media resources to inform you. It's just some of these I'm not getting to work, and I don't have a solution just yet, but I'm going to figure it out.
Yep. I think everything else I was able to look at and worked except for them 2. I was just really looking at them 2 just to kind of get a feel for what previous classes did and some of their hesitations just to make sure I was on the right path. But the 2012 one was a lot of help.
Yeah, and that's plenty actually. So a lot of people have done very good work without looking at what any other classes have done, just the first videos. So I'm giving you all this to try to see what the impact would be if I could give you all these different examples, and if that would take your learning deeper, is what I was kind of thinking about.
Okay, good. Then that makes me feel better that I'm not having major issues with technology. So
I am
glad everyone is.
Yeah. So cool. So does anybody have anything else before we say goodnight? Okay. Good night, everybody. Have a good rest of the evening. Call me if you need anything. Bye for now.
Thanks.